Hello YouTube, my name is Yes, and we're at that time of the year again. One of my favorite times of the year every year is the 3 months from March to June leading up to E3. Well, they're my favorite and also my least favorite. Why? Well, it's my favorite because A, the speculation, we can have all the fun we have into speculating and what we want, be it from third parties, be it from the first party consoles and what we're expecting from them or we're expecting to see in their conferences, but also my least favorite because sometimes, just sometimes, people leak things that are correct, and it's a shame when those things are leaked because, we want to be surprised on the day of the conference, and also because then there's also the fake rumors that for some reason people take and don't shut up about it and use them as a fact. It is happening. Why? Because source A, B, C, and D that have been they have like 85% of being wrong said so. The people that most likely than not don't even know what they're talking about and are just throwing enough stuff at the wall to see what sticks. Like I do, except I don't call myself an industry insider, I don't have any connections within the industry, and I'm just some random dude making a video on the internet. But, I have probably just about a same success rate as those people do. I mean, I did call correctly that we would see Metroid Prime 4, and I could say that I leaked that 3 months before the actual announcement happened. Sure, it didn't happen how I said it, but I still did. But I digress. But here we are at the cusp once again of E3, and this year is the year where we could have the greatest Nintendo E3 of all time. This could be Nintendo's GOAT year. The Switch is doing well. We already know what's going to be the big game or one of the big games for the Switch this year. And the Switch has a lot of momentum going into it. So what better way to do it than doing it in this video within 4 parts of predicting E3. Like last year, I'll be predicting not only E3, but what's going to happen leading up to E3. I'm also going to do 2 other segments this year. One is going to be what the press conferences that happened before Nintendo's to see if I could predict anything for Nintendo Switch, or if anything is going to be announced for the Nintendo Switch, and obviously one after E3 for what might be the rest of the year and what might it look like in terms of Nintendo Directs coming. So, if you enjoyed this video, I normally put this at the end, but I'm going to say this: if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and hitting that like button. It would be neat to hit 100 subscribers before E3. I'm at 87, so it could happen. And but make that decision after you watch the video. Maybe you right now enjoy what I'm saying, and in 5 minutes you realize, oh my god, this guy's an idiot. Thank god I waited until the end of the video. So yeah, let's get started with what happens, or what could happen before E3. So for the time between now and E3, I'm not really expecting much. I think there's going to be probably much more of an empty area than there was last year. Last year we had the Nintendo Direct, and we had did we have something else? I don't think we did. I believe it was just the Direct. But this year I'm expecting maybe some mini Directs to announce more things for things that are would feel like August and September, but wouldn't be fit to be at E3. It's clear now that we have a lot more games coming, and I think that's going to be one of the things that Nintendo's going to start doing. It's having mini directs to fill in the gaps, when there isn't anything major being announced, when there's major events coming. If there's a Nintendo Direct that's going to cover the stuff until July, like there was this one in March, there's no need to have, if you're going to have games that are going to be coming out in say July or August, September, October, they're not E3 worthy. You announce it here so that at least you talk about them. We might also be getting some Nindies event, but outside of that we probably won't be getting anything at all. Yeah, that's about it. So let's move on to the before Nintendo's event at E3. So during E3, there's obviously going to be more conferences. There's just Nintendo. There's going to be obviously Bethesda, Ubisoft, Microsoft, EA, Sony, I don't know. I don't think last year we had Square, so I don't think we're gonna have Square again this year. So we have other 5 conferences outside of Nintendo. So obviously the Switch won't appear in the Sony press conference. It would be ridiculous if it did. I think we're likely to see something being announced during both Bethesda's and Ubisoft's conference. I don't care what people say. Ubisoft are clearly going to announce something. Maybe Assassin's Creed's coming as well to the Switch as well as other consoles. But what I was going to say is I don't care what people say. People are going to say obviously that Bethesda's not going to announce anything because Doom sold so poorly and Skyrim sold so poorly. Well, here's the thing: we don't know numbers for anything, but what we do know is that Skyrim did sell under 200. Both of them sold under 280,000 units in the US. For the year of 2017. Both of them ended below Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in the NPDs for overall year in America for the Nintendo Switch. However, we do know that Skyrim is again top 10 in the Nintendo's top 10 games of January. So it's obviously sold well, or it's continued to sell. And last month in February we did get an update for Doom that increased, I believe, stability of the game and other things, and included gyro controls. I don't think Bethesda would do an update like that if there wasn't at the very least somewhat good sales. Now for the rest of the people at E3, that remains too. I don't think... Oh, and one more thing, we might see more crossovers between Nintendo and these companies. We saw what happened with the Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle. That was a big deal. We might see another game come out. I don't know by whom, but it could still happen. From EA, I'm not sure about anything. It's EA, they seem really vindictive towards Nintendo. They really don't try hard, and sure, you can say a lot about third parties, but EA seems to be the one that's not really trying, even as the Switch has proven itself to be a success. Even in Europe, it's doing better than what it was to be expected, and heck, even FIFA is doing better than to be expected. In the UK, yes, it got a major price cut, bigger than their other versions, but it still continuously selling better than the Xbox version. It did well in France. It did 75,000 units by the end of 2017, and EA said they were pleased with it. So maybe we'll see their sports games, but that's unclear. It's difficult to say. Obviously, and the only company that's left is Microsoft. I don't think we're going to see the Switch again at Microsoft's press conference. It was already crazy when we got it last year. I think this year is very, very, very unlikely because there won't be anything to do. So these are the only developers I'm going to be covering. Obviously, there might be, and there probably will be, a lot more Nintendo Switch titles being announced by third parties at E3. But given the fact that any developer can announce anything during E3, it becomes a little difficult to predict because there's literally an infinite amount of possibilities. So that's about it. So yeah, let's start off with the Nintendo E3 conference itself. So to start off E3, we are gonna start, I believe, with the CG trailer of Super Smash Bros. I think it's the best way to do it. E3 2014, which is one of the best E3s out there, began with the announcement with Smash Brothers. What was it? Was the announcement of the Mii's? It was a CG trailer, yeah. It was more live action with CG stuff in it, and the announcement of the Mii's. But I believe this is gonna be where we're gonna get a whole bunch of characters being announced, and two to three newcomers in this trailer. I know that might seem a little bit too much, but after E3, there's only at the maximum 6 more months, assuming that for them to reveal characters, and assuming that they're going to do the same thing as they did with 4, and assuming that the roster is big and keeping very few characters hidden. because by the time 4 came out, we already knew everything, and I believe that's the better way to do it, because if the game's not going to have a universal launch, or even having a universal launch, it's the better way to do it, because things might get leaked again. Smash Brothers 4, might as well just reveal everything before it so that there's no leaks out there, just in case some douchebag working at with you leaks everything. It's better to do it this way, or even just leave hints here and there for what characters might be in it. But obviously we're gonna get the trailer, the CG trailer, that then it will transition into the gameplay once again like 2014, and they'll show, obviously, probably like 2014 after the trailer we had game modes being showcased here and there. I think they might talk about some new game modes, or returning game modes, maybe even show up the story mode if there is one. And following that, I believe they will announce a release date either of September 14th or the 21st, mostly to coincide with the online services, or the paid online services, although I don't believe it's necessary. The services can stay on their own just by the features. I've said this multiple times, and having a game there doesn't make me really excited for the online, mostly because of, I prefer features over having a paying to play some games. The features would be what would sell it on me, but I don't think I should talk about that part. But the characters I believe that are going to be in the trailer are the 18 speculated characters that we've known so far in Mario, Link, DK, Samus, Peach, Zelda, Sheik, the Inklings, Kirby, Pikachu, Pit, Wario, Bowser, Ness, Captain Falcon, Fox, Marth, and Yoshi. All of them are the characters. Obviously Mario, Link, and Inklings are confirmed, but all the other characters have been speculated because of that enhanced photo or enhanced picture of what it was, the silhouette. And looking at the silhouette, I also think that most of those characters do look like it would fit. The only ones I'm kind of iffy are Captain Falcon and Sheik. Everybody else fits, even looking at the picture. And then I believe we're going to see the return of some characters in the shape of Lucario, Charizard, Shulk, Ike, Robin, Meta Knight, King DDD, Zero Suit Samus, Diddy, and Falco. That's 10 returning characters. Again, it might sound a lot, but we're close to the game will launch not too long afterwards. And I also believe because we can have a nice contrast, because I also believe that we're going to get 2 to 3 newcomers in this first trailer. And the 2, if it's 2 to 3, I believe it most likely will be 3, it will be the announcements of Decidueye, Springman, and Rex. It might not even be just one trailer, it might be 2. Remember, that's the way they did it with E3 2013. We had that first reveal trailer that announced the characters that would be in Smash, and the announcement of the Villager coming to Super Smash Bros. It was the announcement of in that one trailer, and then we had a new challenger approaching trailer for Mega Man. So maybe they could do both here. Begin with this one trailer and then transition into another. I believe the best way, given that we're doing this of like, it's not the characters going to the Smash world, it's the Smash world invading these universes, if that's what the trailer is going for, and which I believe it is. I believe it's Super Smash Bros. 5 and not 4. Going by the trailer, the trailer, the website, the tentative title, and the fact that we saw no gameplay, and it was a teaser. When was the last time a port got a teaser in the way Smash is getting? I only think people are only talking about a port because of Emily Rogers, despite the fact that she gets multitude of things wrong, and because of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and all the other ports. But I believe there's been enough time to make a new one. Yes, there has been. Just because they take longer between releases does not mean that Smash Brothers take that long to make. Smash Brothers 4 was 2 games and it took 2 years to make. So if again keeping the idea of it's the Smash universe entering the world and the universe of where these characters come from, I could really see like Rex coming to the top of a mountain, and then even being in the E3 like that. You think it's a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 DLC trailer. Rex is going to the top of a mountain, and it's Rex with blades, by the way. And all of a sudden, in comes Shulk with the Monado, and we have that battle of the Monado versus the Aegis. That will be interesting to me. The CGI, maybe with Charizard as the fire starter coming in, they start battling, and Lucario comes in and stops the battle because, hey, we have to go to Smash. It will be a very interesting way to kick off E3 in a very big way. I personally had a kind of difficult time choosing which game would have to come here to follow Super Smash Bros. Because Smash Bros. Is a tough act to follow, and I didn't want a game that would be coming out next to be overlooked. And I believe there's only 3 games that could truly be in that line, and I think that the best one for this position would be Fire Emblem. I think Fire Emblem is going to follow very much in line with what we have seen from Fire Emblem in the past, having a very short CG trailer leading into the gameplay reveal, showing us how the game will look and how it will play, maybe a new mechanic, and follow that we're gonna have, much like they did with Fire Emblem Fates a couple years ago, follow all of that. I believe we're gonna get either one of 2 release dates. One will be a 2018 release window, much like they did like Fire Emblem with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 last year, giving us the 2017 date when the game came out in October, or October, in December. Or they might give us an August 24th or 31st release, because that would fit in line with what happened last year. Last year we had Mario and Rabbids being announced for late August, and it was announced at E3. I could see Nintendo doing the same thing here, given that Fire Emblem is a known quantity. There's not a lot really that can be discussed to a lot of detail, especially during an E3 conference. And I believe, and given that both Mario and Rabbids and Fire Emblem have very close genres, Nintendo would want the game to continue on being the strategy RPG game for this August, or maybe just the JRPG for December like they did last year. But I believe those are the 2 most fitting release dates for the game. Personally, if I had to choose one, I would go, if I was making the decisions, I would go with December, given that Smash probably is this September release, maybe October. I would have the game coming out much after Smash. No, actually, I would have it come out before Smash, another thing. So, but yeah, that's what I believe. I believe either December with the 2018 release, or August for a release date. And I shouldn't really be talking about release dates when it's just about trailers. But yeah, let's keep going, shall we? And continuing on from that, we'll get a full trailer, not really a full trailer, a small trailer for Yoshi with a full name and a release date. Now this game, for me, the release dates will be the same as Fire Emblem. I could easily see it flipping between either or. I would have it, it's very difficult for this game to come out this year, because the year is so packed. It's so packed. Like Nintendo has a very heavy-hitting final half of the year. Just by the fact of having Fire Emblem and Smash already becomes difficult. Having other games there will increasingly keep going. I would put this game maybe at December. Because of the holiday rush, it would be good. I don't think it's the November title. Maybe we could have 2 November titles with no December title. It's unclear, but yeah, I would have Yoshi come out at the end of the year if it was me making the decisions, but again, I'm not. So, I don't know what to say. But yeah, full name, a release date, more information to be had throughout the week with Treehouse and stuff. Maybe even amiibos announced for it. But that's practically about it for Yoshi. And following Yoshi, we'll get our first look at Metroid Prime 4. There really isn't really much to talk about here, except for the fact that this will be the first time we'll see Metroid in HD. It should look great. I think most of the things we're going to see, it's probably a new mechanic. Maybe we could see some type of online multiplayer. Obviously, the Treehouse will get more details later on throughout the week or the day. I think we're gonna have one of 2 release dates, much like the other games in this list, apart from Super Smash. I think, well, Smash Bros. I gave 2 days, not 2 months. I think it could be either 2019, just a vague 2019 release window, or a October release window. I think this very much depends on multiple things. It could be A, when the game started development, and B, the second half of the year being so heavy, hit with full with so many heavy hitters, that Nintendo might want to keep Metroid for 2019. But here's the thing: the Switch, it seems to keep growing and growing, and we start to see, and we're seeing so many games having so many, having so much impact, and so many third-party games apparently doing well, and apparently indies being selling so well, that I don't think Metroid, or even Yoshi for that matter, would be overshadowed with other games. But I would think that Nintendo probably could feel fearful of having it, especially if there is any type of big third-party game that they're launching in October. Following Metroid, we'll probably get the announcement of some type of third-party ports. Maybe in the lines of Diablo 3, GTA 5, Overwatch. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying all of these will be there or all of these will be confirmed coming, and especially at E3. Honestly, of the three, I think Diablo and GTA are very likely, and GTA would be a massive E3 announcement. But if I had to predict one game from a third-party company that will be announced at E3, it has to be my most wanted port for one of my most wanted ports for the Switch, and it would have to be Dragon Ball FighterZ. It just fits the console. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is selling extremely well in Japan. The Switch version has already outsold the Steam version. Overall, in Japan, the Switch version is the best version. It's the best-selling version outselling the PS4. Now, sure, that might just be physical, but it still holds some weight, you know, and it's clear that the game is still building and building. I wouldn't be shocked if Dragon Ball FighterZ, to me, it's coming to Switch. It's a matter of when, not of an if. I was very sure about South Park. Was I very sure about South Park? Maybe I don't remember. I shouldn't say that. But you know, it's still a very big possibility. And I personally, if all of these get announced, last year we had Rocket League being confirmed, and we saw a little bit of Skyrim, and we saw Mario & Rabbids during the spotlight. Maybe we'll see it here too, an announcement of small announcements of big AAA or big third-party games. And after the 3DS, no, the third party, and after the third-party segment, we'll probably see Pokemon for the Nintendo Switch for the first time. I don't think we can expect too many crazy things from this. I think we're gonna see the starters, the box art legendaries or box art Pokemon, alongside obviously new Pokemons, the new region, the new playable characters, and I believe the release date will be November 23rd. Now there's a rumor going around that it's going to be a reboot for the series. I honestly don't believe it, mostly because I don't believe any rumor nowadays, because so many rumors come out, people get excited over it, and then they crash and burn because they really don't know jack. You know, but it's from industry insider. Yeah, remember last time people started believing industry insiders? Where's Murder 3? Industry insiders told me in 2016 we'll see it. Where's Female Link? Thank God industry insiders were wrong about that one. That would have been a terrible idea, but they said it was happening, and now sure, people will excuse them because maybe they saw different things. Doesn't matter. Industry insiders, quote unquote, most of the times when they get leaks from Nintendo, because I will admit they do get leaks, but when they do get leaks involving Nintendo stuff, comes from third parties. Note that Super Smash Brothers, not just Super Smash Brothers, but a lot of games don't get leaked. So, you know, but going over that, skipping that, you might say that I'm a little bit crazy and insane, possibly having Super Smash Bros. in September, Metroid in October, and Pokemon in November. But here's the thing, as I said, Metroid is a probable. It's not a specific date, since again, we don't know where either A, Nintendo began development, or B, we learned anything, or even the development, not just development, but the year might be too stacked for Metroid. But for the other two, Smash and Pokemon, there is a precedent for something like this happening. Nintendo has released big games, very big games, close to each other like this. And as a matter of fact, they did it with the Wii. During the Wii days in 2008 to be precise, Nintendo launched Mario Kart Wii on the Wii, obviously, on April 10th in Japan, April 11th in Europe, and the 27th in the United States. Super Smash Bros. Brawl, on the other hand, launched January 31st in Japan, March 9th in the US, and June 27th in Europe. So overall, 2 months, basically, within the 2 months, both before and after Mario Kart Wii came out, Super Smash Bros. Did. So, it would not be unprecedented, and actually something that I think would be a really smart idea. As far as I remember, that was one of the biggest periods for the Nintendo Wii in terms of overall sales. I believe it was the biggest period without being a holiday. So I think it would be smart for Nintendo to do it, and it would have a major momentum, a major blockbuster momentum and feel that would carry over to the early next year, where they could have other games come out, maybe smaller games, but that would keep up the pace, much like this year has been. Next, we'll get a small reminder of the games coming out for the rest of June and July. Games like Octopath Traveler, Captain Toad, Crash, Mario Tennis Aces might get a few more announcements in terms of characters coming post-launch, much like Kirby is doing. So basically the segment for ARMS and Splatoon 2 last year, I think it would fit here. Just a quick small reminder for, let's be honest, the thousands and thousands of people that are going to be watching not E3, the last Nintendo Direct had 500,000 people watching on YouTube. That was a regular Nintendo Direct announced 2 days before. An E3 event is going to be huge, it's going to be much bigger, so having these games there would be, just as a quick reminder, very good and thought out. And now for the shortest part of this entire predictions. I think after this we'll get, much like we got last year with Pokemon and Metroid, we're gonna get a teaser for an upcoming game for next year, and that will be whatever Retro Studios is working on. They'll just announce it with a small, a release window of 2019. And there's not much to say. It's been 4 years since their last project ended. We don't know when the new project began, but maybe I think it will. I think they're coming to the end of it. LinkedIn, somebody from Retro, updated their curriculum or CV to showcase what they did in Retro. Again, like Spawnwave said, and very well. No, I don't know if it was him that said it or someone in his comments that said it. Normally, you update your CV after you're done, just so that you know that you did a good job, or at least you feel like you did a good job, and whomever your next employer might call your old employer, just to know how good you were. So it's possible that the game is coming close to an end, because you wouldn't report like, oh, I did this with this company, and then it's a crap game. It's a shitty game that nobody plays, and it's, just shit. And you wouldn't want then going to your next employer like, ooh, look at what I did, without knowing, and it's like, yeah, he did, but the game's not good. So, or he did not do a good job. And following that, we'll get footage like they did last year with Breath of the Wild, for very small footage for the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Splatoon 2, maybe announced DLC for Odyssey, maybe for other released Switch titles, and we might see some new Wii U ports like Tokyo Mirage Sessions and the Wonderful 101. So, they could all come at this point in time. And next, I believe we're gonna see the first gameplay footage for Bayonetta 3 with an early 2019 launch window. And this trailer, obviously it's Bayonetta, there's not really much to say, and this will lead to the final game, which will be, once again, much like 2014, Super Smash Bros. We're gonna get another Smash trailer announcing the return of the Ice Climbers alongside the returning Villager and Bayonetta. I think anyone that thinks Bayonetta will be removed doesn't know what they're talking about. And anyone saying that she should be removed because she is overpowered in Smash 4 is literally an idiot, because this is the same arguments I heard 4 and 5 years ago for Meta Knight in Smash 4. Because he's too overpowered in Brawl, he must be removed. And he's still in the game, they just, you know, buffed him or debuff him. And I think we might see the reveal of a new character, which I also think, by the way, apart from Bayonet, I think that Sonic and Mega Man could be making also an announcement, announced return here. And I think there just might be the reveal of Crash Bandicoot in this trailer. Now sure, call me crazy, and I know it sounds crazy, but Crash does have history with Nintendo, and the Insane Trilogy is literally coming a month after E3 and could be 2 months before Smash. So maybe he's a third-party character with a history more involving with Sony, which I guess we never had those. But he's also been in Nintendo systems, so he works. But if he is not the character, the third-party character announced at E3, I think Bomberman is. Given the success of Bomberman R on the Nintendo Switch, I wouldn't be shocked if Super Smash Bros. Had him, and if he was the character closing out the show alongside with the rest of the Smash cast. So those are the predictions for the main show. Obviously, I had to cut 2 things that I thought we were gonna see or we might see, and it was Animal Crossing and Luigi's Mansion 3. But with the already kind of stacked thing here, there wasn't. I didn't want to put too much, but obviously there would just be teaser trailers for 2019. That was the thing. I also didn't want to have too many 2019 titles here, and I believe Luigi's Mansion 3 would only be announced after the launch of Luigi's Mansion, the remake on the 3DS. But I also think that it could be announced here because of that. They don't want too much backlash. That's why they did Metroid Prime 4 after because they would be announcing Samus Returns for the 3DS. So I think there might be something here. Yeah, that was for the main show. I think for the online services, that's the other thing I want to talk about when it came to the conference or the overall E3 announcements. I'm not expecting we're gonna have anything for the paid online or a lot of details. I just think Nintendo might announce dedicated servers for Smash, Mario Kart, Splatoon, and then have a direct in either July or August. Talk more in depth about the features and virtual console and stuff like that. I believe that would be more of an August and July thing than it would be E3. When it comes to Treehouse announcements, I think we're going to get some more 3DS titles like they did last year. We might get some smaller Switch titles. And I think that much like 2013, we might just get Super Smash Bros. Announcements, maybe a playable character like they did with the Wii Fit Trainer. If we do get that, I would put my guess for the character being announced would be a newcomer, because it was a newcomer back then. It would be a newcomer now. It being the legacy character from the NES in Takumaru's Castle, or maybe the eShop representation through Dylan. Another thing that I think we might see at E3, although not an announcement, I think this will be announced before, is another Super Smash Bros. Invitational. They did it in 2014 to great success. I wouldn't be shocked if they brought that back, because it would still be a major success, and it would be something that people would be really excited to see and really hyped. If they do, I believe it's going to be around the same time as they did in 2014, since now it's clear that the World Tournament or the World Championships will be later on in the year. It just fits well, and it would be another big way to market Smash. And if we get out of it, I think they might do it differently than what they did in 2014 and actually have a character being announced there and not outside of it like they did. But I'm basing most of Smash in the fact that it's launching this year, so there's not going to be a lot of time to announce characters, especially because Sakurai doesn't like things being leaked on the internet. That's why he didn't enjoy Subspace Emissaries cutscenes being in YouTube. That's why we have a lot of characters being revealed through trailers in on YouTube, basically. So I think that's what we're gonna see. Most characters are gonna be announced through a trailer. So that's what I think it will happen for E3. So now let's get on to the post E3 predictions. Now for the post E3, I'm going to not just predict the aftermath and the announcements, but also when Nintendo will have directs or announcement when directs will be coming. So I think there will be a Nintendo direct, a Fire Emblem direct, about a month before the game launches, be it in December or August. I believe we're going to get a Nintendo direct around before. The online services for the Switch will be a direct also again in July, August. I would guess early to mid-July because there's to be a month buffering, a buffer month between the announcement and the specifics and the release date, so that people can be prepared for what's coming. I think there will be a Super Smash Bros. Direct, maybe most likely I believe in either late to early September, with obviously to announce more characters, more challengers, modes, more stages, like they did in 2014 with the Smash Directs. A lot of the things of Smash I'm basing in how they did it in 2014, because that was the last time we had a direct Smash Brothers come out. So I think that's what they're going to be they'll be doing to keep up the hype, because it was very well made, especially from that period from April to September. The hype was ramping up every month, because every month we were getting directs, we'll be getting announcements. So I think that's what they will be doing once again. And I believe getting Pokemon, there will be Pokemon, and the Pokemon company Nintendo will be doing what they did with the Super Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, with trailers all over the place to announce things. And I think finally there will be a Nintendo Direct, a general Nintendo Direct between October and December to cover the end of the year and early 2019. And I think that still this year we'll be getting the announcements for games like Animal Crossing, not at E3 but after, and Luigi's Mansion and stuff like that. So yeah, that seems to be about it. This seems to be the end of the video. I've gone through everything. And yeah, I know some of these things sound crazy, like having Smash and Pokemon very close to each other and having just a crap ton of Smash announcements. But I believe that's what Nintendo's going to do. Smash is going to be a big deal, obviously. Looking at Sakurai, he doesn't like things to be leaked on the internet, so it's very plausible that he will just want to have every character or most characters being announced before the game launches. There's not going to be a lot of time between E3 and the game's launch. Be it October, be it November, be it September, there won't be enough time. This is also working under the assumption that we won't see Smash before E3. Another thing, I could totally see Pokemon being announced before E3. The Pokemon company does work in mysterious ways. They might just want to announce the game whenever they want. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Tell me in the comment section, what are your predictions for E3? What games are you expecting to see? And tell me, what do you think of my predictions? How crazy are they? Or the fact that I have Pokemon and Smash coming out practically side by side, with maybe Metroid sandwiched in between them. And yeah, tell me also when you think those games or the games in your predictions will come out, because that's always fun to do. Speculate is very fun to do. And tell me, what characters do you think we're going to see in Smash Brothers or being announced during E3? And do you believe or not there will be a Super Smash Bros. Invitational tournament again? So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I've been the Legend of DS. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.